Tonight, I just wanted to really quickly talk about a conspiracy theory. I've never made a discussion of a conspiracy theory before, so I'm pretty excited to see how this turns out. But basically, the way I am going to go about this is, since we know what the conspiracies are about, I'm just going to go ahead and say my take on it, say my thoughts on it. Do I believe in them or do I not? And today particularly, I wanted to talk about the one about Avril Lavigne supposedly being dead since 2003, because that one for me was so much entertainment. Basically, I had known about it, but last night I revisited it, or actually 2 nights ago. When you don't read about something for a long time, your mind kind of goes cold in it. So when you read it again, it almost feels like the first time you're receiving the information. And quite honestly, to some extent, the theory sounded so convincing, especially with the pictures that they kept showing about, her double that they would use so that the real Avril didn't have to appear in some places. Her name was it Melissa or something? I don't know, I forgot already. For me, it was mind-blowing because as I was reading this theory, I was like, wow, this sounds pretty legitimate, especially when they put side-by-side photos. But then we gotta remember how people just age, and the rate of aging is just not the same for everybody. If you look at pictures of me from when I was in 8th grade, pre-puberty or starting puberty, I still look the same. I pretty much look the same now, except that the only difference now is I have matured a little bit, and I'm starting to see when I frown or whatever, the wrinkles take a little longer to go back in place, stuff like that. But nothing too crazy just yet. But it almost sounded convincing when they would show you these photos, but the only thing that made me not be convinced entirely by it was the fact that I was able to go to her Twitter page and look at a few of her recent pictures. I am very good about noticing people's physical traits and remembering them, just the details of it. And if we look at Avril, she has like a pretty unique nose. Like, I can't think of her nose and the shape of her eyes exactly like that being on another person. Even if she would have gotten plastic surgery, no load of plastic surgery will make you look unrecognizable. The only thing that makes you unrecognizable is a deformity. But plastic surgeries usually enhance something or fix something. Unless you have the misfortune of having an allergic reaction, that's when you get messed up to look like you're injured or deformed or whatnot. In Avril's case, I could just see how she just aged. That's normal. And then with the makeup techniques that keep coming out, or that makeup in general just being improved, very easily a lot of features could be sort of concealed, but you can still tell that it's her. For me, the way I distinguish her is the shape of her eyes, which they're kind of long sideways. The space between the brow and the eyelid, it's pretty limited. And then, her nose, just from a front angle, it looks really wide, whereas the model's is more thin. I don't know, you guys, whoever came up with this theory and the rest of you who kept filling in with more theories about it, you guys nearly had me convinced. But fortunately, I'm older now and I can just tell stuff better and apart truth from fiction. But it's interesting because you could actually make a pretty good story out of that. Imagine if such a theory got turned into a movie. And then also that album that came out in 2006 or 2007, the Best Damn Thing, that's totally her in the cover. There's just no way that's just not her. It's just her. So anyways, you guys, what did you guys think about this theory the first time you heard it? Were you convinced? Did you have your questions? Were you annoyed by it? For me, I was pretty entertained by the idea. It sounds like a very sad and horrible story, but it's just not true. Another thing that made it hard for me to almost distinguish and believe the story is that we just don't hear much about her. She used to be like so mainstream, so popular. We would hear about her all the time. And now, in this age of social media, you would think that we would still hear about her. But I guess as the new generation comes up, new generation rises and whatnot, and also the fact that she herself has stated that she's deliberately staying away from the spotlight, you know? But yeah, guys, she is not dead. So I hope that this theory just is laid to rest, because as entertaining as it was when it happened, it's just not right. Alright guys, let me know what you think, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.